All right, we are back on Get Up, and to get to the Cowboys, and a quote from Jerry Jones that is getting a lot of response, not only from fans, but also from his quarterback. Earlier this week, Jerry Jones admitted that he has been very busy with his natural gas business and his interests there, too busy to spend time trying to fix his team's sputtering defense. This is an interview he did with the Wall Street Journal. He said, there's $100 billion in present value with natural gas out there. That's why I'm talking to you on the telephone rather than trying to fix our defense with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott was asked about that yesterday.
Right, you read.
It was long, but we felt important that we played the entire thing for you so you had the full context, so it cannot in any way seem as though, and we would never have wanted to take anything he said out of context. I wanted Mike Tannenbaum, our general manager, in this conversation because now he's talking about 5 minutes. I don't know much about making $100 billion, but I have a feeling you don't do that in 5 minutes. So Jerry Jones, if this was Woody Johnson or Robert Kraft or any of the other owners in the NFL, you'd say, oh, great, go make your $100 billion. But Jerry Jones is also the general manager of that team. So can you describe to us, the trade deadline is next Tuesday. What is this week like for Howie Roseman? What is this week like for Darryl Muji? What is this week like for the guys who do that job?
Agree. For every trade you make, you're probably making 20, 30, 40 phone calls in terms of seeing what else is out there, what's available, what do you have, surplus and needs. Like, you are scouring because after Tuesday at 4 o'clock, that is your last best chance to help your team for this season. Of course, there's free agents and practice squad guys, but it's really your last meaningful chance. And to be candid, a lot of GMs are seeing that footage and they're saying, I'm glad I'm competing against Jerry Jones because this is 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And yeah, I'd love to make $100 billion as well, but we want to compete against people that are not all in. I'm not saying he's not all in financially, but your heart and soul has to be in it every single day.
That's the point I would make. And I'd be curious to hear from the players here because, you know, yes, he's a businessman. He should do business. We all saw Landman. That's awesome. I'm delighted for him that he found this opportunity, made all of this money. But the point is that if you're going to be the general manager of a football team, that has to take up your every breath, your every waking thought, every ounce of energy, all of your blood and your sweat and your tears, all the time. It is a full-time job. And whether he was just trying to be cheeky or not, that is a terrible thing, in my opinion, for him to say to the fans of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, from a former player's perspective, you expect your general manager and your owner to be all in every capacity.
Right.
And your job as a general manager is to exhaust every possibility to make your football team better. So I don't know why Jerry thought it was a great idea to just state that out loud. Like, if you do feel that way, you can keep it to yourself. You don't have to tell it to everyone. Maybe Jerry knows we're going to talk about it.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Like, I get it. 2025, look at Instagram, look anywhere. Capitalism. Who's got the most money? Who's got the most crap? Who's got the most stuff? I'm going to show you everything that I got. This is Jerry being Jerry, and a lot of people are going to celebrate this and say, oh, $100 billion, that's awesome. To your point, Howie Roseman's on a bye week right now, should be somewhere in Puerto Rico or Mexico. He's dealing for Michael Carter and a 7th-round pick and John Mechie. He doesn't sleep. This is what he's thinking about.
Right.
Jerry right now is saying what everyone wants to hear because money is everything. But the truth is, if you're a Cowboys fan, you're like, can't we talk about getting a backup tackle or a defensive lineman?
It's not just one position on defense. It's the defensive line.
Right.
It's the linebacker area. It's the secondary. You need players at all three levels. So you should be making calls.
But I'd say a lot of people are looking at me like Jerry's a baller.
Right,
he makes $100 billion.
But probably not the guys in his locker room.
Maybe.
Right?
I don't even know.
Look at the juxtaposition of Brian Schottenheimer this week. You can take our offensive stats and you can shove them you know where. And Jerry Jones, I just made $100 billion. I mean, those are the two big quotes from the two people, the most important people running the Dallas Cowboys.
They have a new practice facility coming. That's good for everybody.
Back to the team.
But I mean, Jerry Jones is showing you how the sausage is made, right, so to speak. Like, usually people don't show you that pause. Right, usually people don't show you that and talk about the details of the business side of how you operate and support your team. But that doesn't mean that he hasn't been on the phones even before this week was done about how do I trade for Trey Henderson? How do I get this player? How do I acquire that player? And it's footprints, right? And sometimes I'm sure you had assistant general managers that came out and helped you alongside to make some decisions while you went and took a phone call somewhere else.
Yeah, but Bart, hold on a second. I go back to what Harry said, and we had a sign that said, every rock, every day. We were going to be systematically more relentless than anybody else, and everything changes every week. Like, it's reported that Andy Dalton broke a thumb. So now, like, does Carolina maybe need a quarterback? Like, every single day there could be an opportunity either to make your team better or maybe it's a draft choice to trade somebody. So, again, when other GMs see that quote, I am telling you, they're saying, I'm glad I'm competing against Dallas.
And not only that, Bart, you're probably right. Obviously, we can do 10 things at one time. I get that part of it. But don't say that in an interview. It's not funny.
That was my point. Why are you saying this out loud?
Because it's Jerry, guys.
It's like what DMX said. When somebody showed you who they are, believe it.
Yeah.
Jerry has always showed us exactly. It's about the dollar bill, y'all. He has the most valuable franchise in North America, right? He does that because he's all about showing you what I got. He showed you about his yacht. That's how you get the attention, man. It's all good.
And those owners, there's 31 of them, and they all are into their crap and their money, and who's got the biggest yacht. You think it's sick and gross. It is what it is. These guys have a lot of money. And he's just saying in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, I understand your point, though, and I'm validating it. I think there are 31 other GMs who are hammering the phones right now, and maybe Jerry's not.
But he's been around long enough. Don't think you can just pull one over the old guy. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what he don't know.
I'm not sure he knows what he doesn't know. I mean, they haven't won a damn thing in 30.
The Dallas Cowboys are at a crossroads. Halfway through the 2025 season, this defense has been exposed in ways that no one in the organization saw coming. What was once a proud, hard-hitting playmaking unit has become a weak spot that has cost Dallas multiple games. Missed tackles, poor communication, and no consistent pass rush? These are no longer isolated mistakes. They become part of the team's identity, and that's a problem that Jerry Jones can't ignore any longer. When Dallas traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers before the season, it was more than just a personnel move. It was a philosophical shift. The front office believed that a more balanced roster could overcome the loss of a superstar, but the results have been disastrous. The Cowboys' defense hasn't just struggled, it's collapsed. Opponents are attacking at will, and week after week, the same issues appear. Linebackers out of position, blown coverages downfield, and a complete lack of leadership on that side of the ball. Now, as the trade deadline approaches, the Cowboys' front office faces a defining choice. Do they stay the course, trusting a wounded defense to heal itself? Or do they make a bold, aggressive move to bring in the help this team so desperately needs? According to Stadium Rant and multiple reports across the league, two names have surfaced as legitimate trade targets who could transform this defense overnight: Cincinnati Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson and Miami Dolphins edge rusher Jaelan Phillips. Let's start with Logan Wilson. This is a player who fits the Cowboys' needs to perfection. He's experienced, disciplined, and battle-tested. In Cincinnati, Wilson built a reputation as one of the most reliable linebackers in the AFC. He's a strong tackler, a natural communicator, and a proven leader. During his time with the Bengals, Wilson earned the trust of teammates and coaches as a captain, and that leadership could be exactly what Dallas is missing right now. When you watch Wilson on tape, you see consistency. He rarely misses tackles. He reads plays before they happen. He doesn't just react, he anticipates. His instincts in zone coverage are elite, and his ability to disrupt passing lanes is something Dallas has lacked since the departure of Jalen Smith years ago. Wilson's tackling efficiency ranks among the best in the league, and his football IQ allows him to direct traffic at the line of scrimmage. For a Cowboys defense that has looked lost at times under Matt Eberflus, Wilson could bring immediate stability. He's the kind of linebacker who doesn't just make plays, he makes everyone around him better. And here's where things get even more interesting. His trade value is at an all-time low. With rookie Barrett Carter emerging in Cincinnati and Wilson's playing time reduced, he reportedly requested a trade earlier this month. Sources around the league suggest that the Bengals could move him for a mid to late round pick, possibly a 4th or 5th rounder. That's the definition of value. Dallas could land a leader, a captain, and a proven difference maker for the price of a backup offensive lineman. That's the type of smart, calculated move championship teams make in the middle of the season. Then there's Jaelan Phillips. If Wilson represents stability, Phillips represents potential. The kind of potential that changes games. At 6'5" and 265 pounds, Phillips is a freak athlete. When healthy, he's one of the most explosive young edge rushers in the league. His first step off the line is violent, his hand technique is refined, and his motor never stops. Phillips' injuries have slowed his momentum the past 2 seasons, a torn Achilles in 2023 and a torn ACL in 2024. But now, in 2025, he's healthy again, and scouts have noticed flashes of the same dominant player who once terrorized opposing quarterbacks in Miami. For Dallas, this is the type of buy low opportunity that can completely reshape a defense. Imagine Phillips lined up next to Kenny Clark on the defensive line. Imagine his speed off the edge, forcing quarterbacks to rush their throws again. Imagine a Dallas defense that suddenly remembers what it feels like to dominate the line of scrimmage. Phillips doesn't just fill a hole, he restores the identity this team has lost. And even better, his situation in Miami makes him attainable. With the Dolphins heading toward a rebuild and Phillips entering the final year of his contract, reports indicate that he could be available at a discount. Dallas could likely get him for a conditional mid-round pick, a small price for a player with elite upside. Together, Wilson and Phillips represent everything Dallas needs: leadership, toughness, and playmaking. One brings control, the other brings chaos. One commands the huddle, the other attacks the pocket. This defense desperately needs both. Matt Eberflus's system depends on discipline and communication, and both have been missing all year. The Cowboys rank near the bottom of the league in defensive efficiency, opponent third down conversions, and points allowed in the red zone. Simply put, this unit doesn't finish. Logan Wilson could change that by solidifying the middle of the field. Jaelan Phillips could change that by finishing plays in the backfield. And while Jerry Jones has said multiple times that Dallas isn't one player away, history tells us he knows when to pull the trigger. The Micah Parsons trade was a gamble, one that opened up cap space and added future draft picks. But this team isn't built to wait for the future. Dak Prescott is in his prime. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are dominating defenses. Javonte Williams is running like a man possessed. The offense is ready to compete right now. The defense just needs reinforcements. The truth is, both Wilson and Phillips could be those reinforcements. For once, Dallas has flexibility. They have the draft capital, they have the cap room, and they have the motivation to act. Cowboys Nation, this is what it comes down to. Do you stay patient and hope for improvement from within, or do you go out and grab proven talent before the window closes? Because make no mistake, that window is still open. The NFC landscape is unpredictable. Teams like Philadelphia and San Francisco have shown vulnerability. If Dallas shores up its defense before the deadline, this team can compete with anyone in the conference. Jerry Jones has never been afraid of a bold move. Some have defined his legacy, others have haunted it. But this moment feels like one of those crossroads in franchise history. Logan Wilson and Jaelan Phillips aren't just players, they're opportunities. Opportunities to fix what's broken, reignite confidence in the locker room, and send a message to every team in the league that the Cowboys still intend to fight for a Super Bowl. It's been said that great teams don't wait for help, they go get it. If Jerry Jones truly believes this roster has what it takes, then waiting is not an option. These next few days before the trade deadline could decide the fate of the 2025 Dallas Cowboys. For now, all eyes are on the star. The fan base is restless, the defense is desperate, and Jerry Jones has a decision to make. Cowboys Nation, what do you think? Should Dallas go after Logan Wilson? Should they take the gamble on Jaelan Phillips? Or should they hold steady and trust the system to figure it out? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe to Cowboys Nation Report for daily updates, insider reactions, and the latest trade developments from across the league. Because this isn't just about two players, it's about restoring pride to a defense that used to define what it meant to wear the star. And if Jerry Jones makes the right call, that pride could return sooner than anyone expects.